talks, I heard enough of it. Like, what you gonna do? Where you at? Who you with? You ain't really bout this, don't talk about it. Really on the move, on the map, never slip. Keep your hands to your lips, don't talk about it. Real eyes, real lies all the time. Stand on it, if we said it, we don't walk around it. Loose lips, sink ships, red cup, blue strips, new phone, who this? No, we don't allow it. Really on go, I don't know what's an off day. Now we on road, came from smoking in the hallway. Now we got shows, boys feeling like Broadway. Always look both ways, even on a crossway. Driving down Cross Bay, out town Barclays. Really on big things, came up a small way. Championship rings, baby, that's a ball game. Oh, she want a little bag, baby, that's small change.
The episode of the Epic Podcast is me and Jared in the house tonight. John and Justin should be joining us a little later. John just moved, so he's working on internet, and Justin's just saving the world every day. So he'll be here when he get in here. So how's your sports weekend, bro?
Shit. I mean, it was good. I mean, you always get me with that question. I don't really know.
I ask it every week. It's just like
I be having to remember what I even watched. Like, I mean, it was cool, I guess. Shit, nothing really happened for me sports wise, so I'm chilling though.
Okay. All right. Like we got John in here too. Yo. Can you hear me, John? I can. Can you hear us?
I don't even think he can see us. Like, he's not even reacting to our.
Yeah. Hey, can you see us? You good? Oh, he's saying, hold on. Okay. All right. Well, hey, the Bengals won last night.
Yeah, barely.
Barely, but hey, they made a play. So,
I don't even count shit like that.
yeah, okay.
We got one of them Kansas City Chiefs wins though.
Man,
sure.
hey, for sure. Hey, definitely one of those wins.
Gift wrapped, signed, sealed, delivered joints.
Yeah, absolutely. Dallas definitely literally fumbled that.
Finally got a break.
Like, yeah.
That's like our first break of the season, bro. Like, finally got a break.
Yeah, we had a bye this week, so Coach didn't play. Pacers still trying to figure it out with just injuries. We just don't have no big men. We just all our big men are hurt. And college football. I mean, kind of. I don't know. It was a kind of crazy. So, but I like what they did, and they kept the teams that made it to the conference championship in, and allowing them to continue to play instead of like booting somebody because of it. So, I like that. Even though I still don't even think we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Clemson in a minute.
But that's why I was staying quiet.
Yeah. Although we'll talk about Clemson in a minute. But nonetheless,
want me to wait to go crazy or
nah. So we're gonna start with a little NBA. Not much going on right now. We just got the Eastern Conference quarterfinals right now in the NBA Cup. Right now, currently playing on TNT is the Bucks and the Magics right now.
This is did you say the quarterfinals or conference final? What'd you say?
No, quarterfinals.
Oh, okay.
So you got corners, semis, and then champions.
Yep.
So quarterfinals right now. Like I said, the Bucks and the Magic are playing right now. Then towards the end of the third, it look like the Bucks are winning right now, 78-70. You get the Knicks and Hawks tomorrow at 7 p.m. on ESPN. This is just the Eastern Conference. We also got the Western Conference. Thunder and Mavs play tonight at 9. You can catch that on TNT. 9:30, my bad, on TNT. And then you get the Rockets and Warriors tomorrow on TNT at 9. So, okay, I think John's still working on his things. So, that's all we really got for basketball right now, man. We're really gonna jump in to this college football because it's definitely a lot to talk about. People been complaining about the ins and the outs, the Miamis. If you're gonna let a Clemson in, why not let a Alabama in? Like, it's been crazy. In these conference championship games, how much do they matter? Should they matter more? Should they not matter? Should they matter less? Are people benefiting off of not playing conference championship games? Like, I'm gonna let you go first because, like you said, I know you got a lot to say. I got a lot to say too, but I'm gonna let you go first. Where do you? Let's start with the um. Let's start with what's recently happened. Let's start with the conference championship games. Do you think anybody's? Do you think the conference championship games should benefit anybody in particular?
I think they should be able to help you. I don't think they should be able to hurt you. But in the
Okay.
grand schemes of the rankings, like they need to get rid of giving buys to conference champions. Because nah, I still think buys should be earned by those who have played tough records, have prevailed with that. Well, excuse me, tough schedules, have
Mhm.
prevailed with those tough schedules, and earned the right to be one of the top four teams in the country. I mean, winning the Mountain West and getting a first round bye is crazy to me.
Okay,
That,
so
that's
hold on.
insane.
I want to get some perspective on that too. So when you saying so based on your strength of schedule and how you perform during that strength of schedule should dictate you getting in or not. Is that what you're saying? I want to
Yeah,
make sure I understand that. Okay,
absolutely.
I agree with that. I agree that because then, I mean, you can, and this is not a bag on Indiana, but you can play like an Indiana schedule and get in.
Right.
Then why should me as a, I don't know, a Georgia, why should I schedule a Alabama, a Tennessee?
Well, I mean,
You
you
know what
got
I mean?
those are conference games. You don't
Yeah,
need.
but I'm just saying, like, I could, I mean, I could schedule other conference games. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's
No,
other
you
teams.
have to play it. Nah, it's all you don't. They don't schedule those games. That's all like a program. Like you play this team. That like you. Yeah, that's you don't. They don't schedule
I
them.
know they rotate them, but I'm just saying, like, none of that matters. Then, like, because, I kind of wish they would just kind of change these conferences to make them more balanced, not just like, you know what I mean, like.
Yeah, because you really have two conferences
You
now.
really
Like,
had two conferences. Okay. You really got two conferences, and it's really the Big Ten and the SEC.
yeah,
Like, I think you should just break them all down and just conferences should not really even matter, really. It should just be, I don't know, maybe two big conferences, kind of
I,
like a East and a West, maybe, or something
I
like that.
think.
Like,
I
you
mean,
got to do something different.
I feel like they can leave it how it is. Just take out the conference champions getting buys. Like,
Mm.
just the conference championship can help you. You know what I'm saying? Say a IU beats to Oregon in
So
the
you
you know
saying like ranking wise help you?
yeah, in the Big
Because
Ten
how else? Oh,
championship
okay,
that
okay.
should be able to affect your ranking, but just rank 1 through 12, bro. I mean, I don't understand like why the Mountain West champion has to be in the college football playoff, let alone getting a first round bye. That's absurd. Like, and
Yeah,
it just didn't hit me until just now. I didn't know that I thought it was like the Power Four, well, quote unquote Power Four champions got the first. I didn't know it was the top four out of the five. Like
yeah.
that's that
Because
yeah,
that's the
that's
reason why Arizona State was at 12,
yeah,
even
that's
though they won
crazy.
a
Like
conference
you
championship.
you might as well put the winner of the Army Navy game in the damn
But
college football playoff if that's what we on.
that's what I was talking about last week.
Put the Ivy League champion in there then. If
When you're looking at records and you're like, okay, the Army only lost one game. You know what I mean? Like if you look
yeah,
down even in the top 25, it's like there's teams down there with two losses. You know, there's teams down there with one loss. Like they just didn't play a hard enough schedule. So if you're penalizing them for only losing one game but not playing a hard enough schedule, how are you rewarding a Clemson because they played good in conference to allow them to make it to the championship, and which allowed them to now, like you said, get a first round bye with three losses, to where their
but
schedule
wait
was
a minute,
nowhere.
who you saying got a first round bye with 3 losses?
Uh, not a but Clemson getting in.
Oh yeah, they don't have a bye though.
They don't have
Okay.
a bye, but you know them getting in. Like when you look at that, like in that sense of like, how do you like explain that to other teams? Because Clemson's schedule was nowhere near tougher than Alabama schedule. And
Yeah,
did they play? I'm about to look right now. Did they? Danny
they
and they
didn't
didn't.
they
They
didn't
didn't
play
play.
Miami.
They didn't play. That's exactly what I'm about to say. They didn't play Miami. Let's see. They played Georgia first. They lost to Georgia, but then this App State NC State, Stanford, Florida State, Wake Forest, Virginia. Then you lose to Louisville and lose to South Carolina. And you know what I mean? Like, so, like, I guess the Georgia one is understandable, but then you're playing Pitt, Virginia, the Citadel. Like, you're not like that schedule isn't tough to me.
Yeah,
Um, Even in the ACC where it's not really like you don't play, and then you didn't play SMU until the end of the season, which I mean, you let them, they almost won. So
yeah.
like, it ain't like you. I just think that's tough, man. And the only reason why they was in the championship because of conference play, with with one more win than Miami, who been ranked all year in the top 10, like really playing good ball. I think they're penalized. Oh, we got Jonathan chiming in. Let me see. They play in the Power Four. Yeah, Clemson got a serious schedule. Pitt was ranked.
I mean, Clemson's schedule is better than like
So
average. I mean, I'm not saying it's the
yeah,
worst, but, and then of course I'm still big on benefit of the doubt. I mean, they're still well coached. They're a disciplined team. Like I think some subjectiveness has to go into it. I mean, obviously it can't be all just cut white and black. Like what I'm saying, there has to be some gray in it.
yeah,
But
but with that, and I want to, and I gotta address this with hold on, I'm trying to get Justin in here like he just hopped in too, but I want to address this with Jonathan. Like, just because these teams are ranked when they played them doesn't mean that that should count towards a good win. Because if they don't end the season ranked, then that was a bad team. They were just going off of what they potentially could be at that time. So like if like you say, like he said, Louisville was ranked and Pitt was ranked. Like Pitt ended the season not ranked. They
I mean, but
ended they ended
one could
seven.
also
They
argue.
I'm
One
just
could
saying they
also
ended 7-5, and then Louisville ended 8-4. So like these aren't like these clearly wasn't these top teams. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe at that time based on their record, but that was early in the season. Like, if Louisville was still ranked, we'd be like, okay, cool, maybe that was a good win. If Pitt was still ranked, we'd say, all right, cool, that was a good win. That would count towards them down the line. But right now, at the end of the season, when we done seen what everybody is, like that doesn't count. You can't say, oh, they were ranked because they was ranked at that time. They're not ranked now, so that's a knock against their schedule
so
to me.
do you not think that teams can get worse progressively throughout the season?
That's what I'm saying.
One, one,
They
one, a team could argue, oh yeah, well they were 4-0 when we played them, when we started them on their downward trajectory.
yeah,
Like, so I mean, I kind of that's there's no complete right answer to this, right? Like,
no,
there's
absolutely,
no absolute like foolproof way. That's why I think what makes more sense is to just rank the top 12 teams. Like, you can't put a Mountain West champion in the top four. That's insane. That's insane. And just like that picture that I sent y'all, like Penn State almost got the easiest route to the championship.
yeah, no,
You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying? At least their first two rounds, and it's just like, how are y'all doing this seeding? But the seeding is messed up because of the conference champions having to be in the mix. Like, and it shouldn't be like that. If you genuinely feel like Arizona State is a top 12 team in the country, cool. But I don't think anybody thinks they are. Even if they say, hey,
And I think,
conference
and like you
champions.
said, I think if you like kind of what you're saying. Hold on, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like with the conference championships, give them the first 6 seeds, 5, 6 seeds. You know what I mean?
I
You
don't
win the
like it.
conference. I'm just saying, like, if you don't have to give them a bye, they still have to play the first round, but give them the top seeds or something like that. But like you said, I don't think it should. I don't know, man. It's kind of tough. Like, it's almost like do away with them, man. We got Justin in here with us right now. Hey, what do you think about we talking about the college championship games and how they affect the playoff? What do you think, man?
Um,
What impact should it have, or should it have an impact at all?
well, it has to have an impact because if you're gonna say it doesn't have an impact, then why have a strength of schedule? Why have any of those other things? So like you can't. I mean, unfortunately, you can't pick and choose when it comes down to how they look at it. Are there going to be conference champions that probably aren't as good as some other teams? For sure. I mean, all the systems are going to be flawed no matter how you do it. But at the same time, like I don't know, like who you were talking about, Arizona State. I think, like, let's say they go in and they get blew out. That doesn't mean that a team that you guys that was held out of the tournament wouldn't have got blown out either, regardless if they were a better team. So I mean, I think you just roll with it. There's no perfect system. So I mean, you gotta reward them for winning their conference in some kind of way. So
Why though? If the conference isn't good, like
is
why do
that
we
is
have
that
to
their fault?
reward the Pac-12, not the Pac-12, but the Mountain West champion? Like for what?
Yeah,
Like I mean, I
we
think
got
if we're
I
John in
mean,
here
gonna have
also.
we expanded it to the top 12 teams, like put the top 12 teams in it. Like what are we doing? I mean, it defeats the purpose of even having rankings if you got a team that's got a 4 seed, but they're not the fourth best team in the country by any objective measure, by any subjective measure, they're not top four. But you have them, as a top 4 seed. Like literally defeats the purpose to me. Like
wait,
Because I
here,
think if you're gonna hold like you said this bundle of circumstances against a team, or you're gonna use it to benefit a team, it has to be a level playing field. So like again, it because everybody it's only one conference championship, so everybody in the conference. If you got multiple teams from that conference in the higher rankings, then yeah. But like I said, strength that's when strength of schedule come into play, and like you said, like are you the best team? How have you been playing? How you played against top team? What type of wins you got? I think all that stuff should come into play.
here's my only question, I guess, to that, because I mean, don't get me wrong, like I do understand what you're saying. Um, how can I ask this?
It's kind of hard.
Yeah, like it's I mean, there's no right or wrong answer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, okay,
right.
so what team, give me just one example, Jared or Vernon, whoever, as far as a team that shouldn't have been in and then a team that you would have replaced them with.
So I could definitely give you a couple teams that I
Just
don't
yeah,
think are top
just give me
10.
one. Just give me one.
One, Arizona State.
Okay. So regardless of what Arizona State did, they didn't deserve to be in it, right? That's
No,
I
I'm
guess
not
that's
saying
fair.
I'm saying based on what they did do. No, like if you have one loss and you're beating everybody, like you're beating less opponents by a sizable amount, then all right. I'm like I said, I keep saying I'm big on benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
But
So who
but
would you
what
have
we've
replaced?
seen from them is not indicative of a top 4 team in the country. And I'm not even saying, hey, throw them. Actually, I'll take that back. I'm not even saying completely exclude them from the playoff, but like them having a top 4 seed is nuts.
Okay, but who
They're
would
not
you
a
have
top 4
replaced
team in
them
the
with?
country, and they didn't earn that, in my opinion. And it's crazy.
But who would you have replaced them with?
I mean,
Y'all know how I feel. Alabama would smoke them. Would blow the doors off Arizona State.
Yeah. Okay, but here's the thing: we could have that discussion if Alabama didn't lose the games they lost.
And I get that, but I mean, still, it comes down to just like I feel like how come
But
every other sport at every level can get it right except for college football?
but
You don't see when they're doing the 64 for the NCAA tournament. You don't see, oh well, this team won the conference championship. They got 3 losses, but they won the conference championship, so they gonna get a number 1 overall seed. No, I don't even think FBS or FCS does it that way.
so here's the thing though,
The
Jared.
best teams
Your
in it.
but your argument shouldn't be, and no offense, I ain't picking on Bama because you said them. Like
but they're the
Bama,
best example.
they're not really, because if you look at the losses that Bama had, you like hindsight, you can say, "Oh, Bama would have beat Arizona State." Okay, would Arizona State beat Vanderbilt? Maybe. I mean, so we can play that game all day long.
And
Your
then and then
argument,
that's
your argument shouldn't be that they shouldn't be in it. You know, kind of like what it's okay. Maybe they don't deserve to have a top seed, but
no,
just not
that's it.
having a top seed doesn't put Bama in the tournament. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Maybe you reseed it differently,
I still
but
don't think anybody thinks Arizona State is a legitimately better football team than Alabama. I
but that
don't buy it
that's
with
an
your money.
I understand what you're saying, but that's your opinion. But it always goes back to
That's
this
all
for
of.
me. That's here's okay. Here, this is how I look at it. I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, if Bama did what they were supposed to do, this wouldn't have been a discussion. So I don't want to hear anything else about it.
That's
Okay,
There are
true,
teams
but
that have
okay
losses.
then.
I
There
mean,
are
Okay,
teams
okay
that have
then.
maybe the
losses that
committee doesn't either.
still made it
But
in.
but why have
Okay, I got
rankings if you're not ranking them? Like,
Okay,
why have
I got a
rankings
question then.
if the top 12 teams aren't just 1 through 12? Like, that's all I'm asking for.
I
That's
want
it.
to I want to say this, and then I want to get John's opinion on it. All right, so let's look at Clemson. A 10-3 Clemson. Do we all believe Clemson deserves to be in it?
It's arguable.
And the only reason why they're in it is because they won the conference championship. That's only reason. They're ranked 16th, but they're a 12th seed. Do you agree with that? I think that's what Jared is saying. Like, they don't even believe that they're a top 12 team, even though they're seeded 12 in the playoff.
Here's
That's
the
With a South Carolina with 3 losses in front of them, a Ole Miss with 3 losses in front of them, a Miami with 2 losses in front of them,
yeah,
and
that's
Alabama
good.
with 3 losses in front of
How
them. Like,
you
all
put a
these
team
teams,
from the same conference out of it? But it just doesn't make any sense to me. I
I think
just
it's
I
crazy.
like the idea of them going to 12 teams because it gives us an opportunity to watch more good high level football. But it's
Yes,
just like
hopefully.
I think they just try too much. Like every other playoff on every single sport of every single level. I'm talking from junior high on up to professionals, baseball, basketball, football. Everybody but FBS can't seem to get it right. Just rank, just seed it how you think that the teams are seated. Like, or if you want to just go strictly by, I don't some you got to do something. You know what I
I'll
mean?
say
John,
this: I have no problem with them reseeding. I'll say that. Like, I don't. I'm fine with them saying, "All right, just because you won your conference tournament, you don't get a top 4 seed." I'm in agreement with you there. I can understand that. But to all together again, the 4th best team in the SEC or wherever Bama was, like you're not going to get me on board with saying put them in, regardless of if we may think they're better. They weren't deserving because if they would have won more, you can't do that, Jerry, because if that's the case, I'll say this: by your standards, there shouldn't be any conferences. It should be just be a pool of teams.
I'm cool with that too.
It's not going to
I've
happen.
said it a
It's
long
well,
time ago.
I was just,
not
How
going
it
to happen.
and
sports
we was actually just hinting to that
College sports
when
is
y'all jumped
OU
on.
now. Like I don't even think college teams should have any affiliation with college at all. It's all just goofy at this point. Like
All
the
right.
the, the whole, especially basketball, making guys actually go to college for 1 year is just it's
It's
asinine.
stupid. Yeah,
Like
it's
so, don't that's a whole different path and for a whole different conversation. But
Yeah,
yeah, I don't
trust
even
me.
All right.
think
I
Come
said
college
that
on.
about
athletics.
I've said that about football too, Jared. I said it's just too much money. I said
Yeah,
I'm not saying that out of football you should be able to come out of high school, but I've always been against the 3-year rule. But that's
yeah,
a
it's
whole
just
All
like,
right.
bro,
Come
just
on.
just get a just at this point, just get a team. When we're watching these guys play, we're not, oh, okay, yeah, he just scored a touchdown. Man, I hope he aced his test on Friday.
no,
Nobody cares. Like
no.
they're not even remotely like similar. But like I said, that's a completely different idea, thought for a completely different conversation.
I
But
want
yeah,
to
man,
get John to
I'm just
chime
a
in
fan
on it.
of ranking the teams. If a 3-loss team makes it in, because my thing is this. So say you drop a couple silly games off some fluke stuff, but then you beat the number 1 and 2 teams in the country by 3 touchdowns. Like so that doesn't mean any. I don't know. That doesn't mean anything.
It does, but here
Eh,
I guess kind of going
I,
back and go ahead, Fitz. My bad, but I was
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
say
no,
this
you
real
good. You
quick.
good.
But
You,
going back to that though, Jared, it kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning. Yeah, they may have, like, again, let's say Bama, whatever, use them as the example since that's who we've been talking about. But if they lost to Vanderbilt, that means they can lose to anybody else in this daggone playoffs, just like any team. That's
Yeah,
that's what makes college college. So, like, I'm not tripping on any of the seeding because the best are going to win. You know what I mean? Like the best teams on that day are going to win, and it's going to work itself out. But could they reseed it differently? For sure. But you're just not going to get me on board with saying scratch everything else. Yeah, like to me, losing to Vandy within itself is going to make not. I'm not putting you in. I'm sorry. Arizona State actually has some decent
crazy
wins.
though. Think
They,
about college
they do.
basketball though, and how many number 1 seeds lose conference games on random ass Tuesday nights to.
Yeah, but me, both
You know,
know basketball is so much different. Way more games,
yeah.
so
I
way
mean,
more
way more
opportunities
games, but I
to
mean,
get back in
you're
it.
still losing
Yep.
to an
Okay.
inferior opponent is losing
Yeah,
to an
but like,
inferior.
for
Okay.
example, in
But are,
basketball, you can lose to 2, 3 inferior opponents, but you can beat 15 ranked opponents. Like you're just gonna have more opportunity to solidify yourself in
I feel
basketball
like
than
you
you
can
got in
lose
football.
to 2, and then that's the same ratio. Like you said, what 15 to 3, in 1 to 3, or you might lose to one inferior opponent and beat 3 ranked opponents, or you might, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's the same. It's the same average. I feel like.
Let's get John in here. He fought with his
Yeah,
internet to
bro.
get
This
in
is
here.
good.
Let's get him in here.
He ain't saying
Nah,
nothing.
Well,
nah,
he
he
tried
good.
to. He hasn't had a chance.
Y'all was
Go
going
ahead,
back and
brother.
forth. I ain't gonna never cut nobody off like that. That's just not me. But no, I was just kind of listening in. And like I said, excuse me, it's been moving and internet and all that craziness that's been going on. So, but I will say this, just a couple things. Um, I do agree with the seating. I think the seating could be different. I definitely think the conference championships hold a lot of weight, probably more weight than it should hold. I think it should hold some weight now because that matters. Like I don't want anybody
Yeah,
to take that. Winning your conference matters. I mean that should be the ultimate goal for any team that's in a conference. Win out. Like there should not be any like that should always be a goal. So it matters, but I do agree that it does hold a lot of weight because it does allow for, you know, let's say a team doesn't recruit as well, for the beginning of the year. As long as they win out their conference, they're going to the ship, they're going to the dance or whatever. So I think it does hold a little bit too much weight. So I think that could be revamped. However, on top of that, going back to what you guys were saying about Bama really hurt themselves. And the reason why I say that is because they have the talent. They always have the talent. And because they did lose those 3 games, that's what's hurting them the most. If it was another team that lost three games and they didn't have that much talent or whatever, but they still had some quality wins and got in, I would be like, cool, okay, y'all did what y'all had to do. Y'all did what y'all had to do with what y'all had. But we're talking about Bama. Bama is not supposed to lose to Vanderbilt. I don't care what anybody says on this planet. It should not have been lost from them on that particular from that team whatsoever, and that hurts. I'm sorry, that hurts them badly. Now, if they would have went out to go back what you were saying, Jerry, if they went out and they blasted like the number one team, like if they went out and played Oregon and they blasted them by like 3 or 4 TDs, okay, now we can have a conversation. But that never happened. That they literally just lost 3 games and they lost it to inferior teams.
And they got
So
smacked by Oklahoma.
and they
So
got smacked by Oklahoma, which is also
so
another
That's
inferior
probably
team
that's
to
probably
Bama.
that probably was the worst one.
that's what
and
and
let
that's
me,
what I'm
let me,
saying though.
let
Let's
me
just be honest. That leaves a taste in
After
your mouth
after
as a
after
voter.
that,
Go ahead, Chris.
Being an Alabama fan, after that, I was arguing even with the 2 losses. I'm like Tennessee, Vanderbilt, all right, cool, because Tennessee lost to Arkansas, and Vanderbilt and Arkansas's record is the same. So I could have argued, Tennessee and Bama's placing, but when you lost to Oklahoma and watching that game and how y'all played, I was like, nah. It
Yeah,
wasn't nothing they could do. It was nothing they can do against Auburn that was going to change my mind because
No.
you didn't score a
Yeah,
touchdown against Oklahoma.
they would have
So to
literally
me,
had to,
that's
yeah,
why after
yeah.
that week y'all heard me come on. I was like, hey, they do not put Bama in. I would be
Like
highly
they
upset. Even
literally,
being a fan, Bama did not
yeah,
deserve to be in.
they would
So I was
literally have to
adamant.
play that next game. They would have to play Oregon and smack them by like 4 or 5
Yeah, you will
TDs.
have.
I
I
mean,
mean, you will
to
have to
make a
play
case,
somebody.
to make a case,
I don't even
and
think you
that's not
get it.
even.
I don't
That's
even
just to
think you
make a
get a case.
case. I think that makes a case
Nah,
because
Be-
you're, but
because
even
if you really
still,
look at their wins, I mean, you could say Georgia's making the case. You could say Missouri at that time was 21 making the case. LSU at that time was 15 making the case. It's not enough.
yeah,
It
yeah.
wouldn't have been enough. Like you,
It's hard.
like
It's hard. It's hard to put. It's hard for me to believe that a 3 loss team should get in anyway. If you just keep it at the losses, it's hard when you got all these 1 and 2 loss teams that's in the top 25. It's hard for me to say, well, I'm gonna let you leapfrog this particular team that actually did what they're supposed to do on their schedule for the year, just
did what they
because you.
supposed to do, and being great is just two different things, y'all. Like,
no, and that's what I was about to say.
man, I don't like
To
doing what
your
you're supposed
to
to
So
your
do.
what's the
point,
Like,
purpose of playing the games if all we're gonna do is
I mean,
say
well, then,
Alabama has the tradition of
what,
being great? Let's
well,
put
then
them
put
in.
the FCS team in. Then, if
We're,
I
we're
mean,
giving.
I don't
I
understand
think
where is
we're
the
we're giving Bama too much credit. I'm sorry, and I get it.
this
I,
is a
I
this isn't
Always
trust
be
me.
about
I
the
this
case.
get
isn't
it.
about
this
Trust
ain't
me.
Bama.
I
about
get it.
Bama. I think
No,
Bama
this
they're
should
is
have
just
an
been
they're
somebody
always
just
else
be
thrown
the case.
out.
they're just a
But
good
like,
example just where they are just in the
But that's
ranking
but that's the but
versus
that's the
having
main
two teams
example. That's
having
the
two
main
teams in the
example.
playoffs that's ranked below them.
Yeah.
in, and them just being right there at 11, and you got Arizona State at 12 that's in, and then you got
Yeah.
Clemson at 16 that's in. So they're the
It's just
best
like,
example,
what's
unless
the
you want to
point?
talk Miami. I
In
mean,
I don't
my
Miami.
understand the point.
in my opinion, they're the only example to me because I'm okay with Miami being where they're at. I'm okay with like some of those other ones, but Bama's the best example for this particular situation. I'm sorry.
I would say my thing. I would have to see Miami and Clemson play to me to
I
make
just
that
don't.
decision.
I personally don't want to see.
Like, forget the conference records. If it's coming down to a situation like that, and you're like, okay, we don't know if we should give Clemson a shot at the ACC championship or should we put Miami in the playoff. If that's the decision right there, which it should have been, I would say, okay, let's put Miami against Clemson and see who comes out.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be some type of ruling to because the conference championship, you're just taking the conference record. So if you have good conference play, but horrible, you know what I mean, out of conference play, you can still compete for the conference championship and then make it into the playoff. That's my frustration with the conference championship, because that does give you a leapfrog type of mentality, hence the Clemson,
I
because
got
they're clearly not I'm not gonna say clearly not better than Miami, but Miami played better, even though it's one loss between them. They never played each other to even determine that.
Mm-hmm.
and here's the only thing I will say is with what you said, Vern. They wouldn't do it, but
I
I
know.
wouldn't
I'm
even
just
be
saying.
no, I'm saying, but what you said brought an interesting thought to my mind. I wouldn't even be opposed because I think it is kind of bogus. Like Notre Dame could never get a top four because they're independent,
Yeah.
right? You know
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying? Like that doesn't
crazy.
make
Yeah.
sense to me. That
Very
doesn't
good
make sense.
example.
And I'm okay with
And
and
there's the thing,
I
like
agree with that. I
yeah,
agree with that. Yeah.
but if they're gonna do that, and maybe this satisfies you, Jared, if this were to happen, let's just say that Miami or like you said, Burn, like Clemson and them, maybe you do like a play in, kind of like those games right before the tournament to see who actually is
Mm-hmm.
gonna get in the tournament. You
Mhm.
got those. Maybe you do one. So if Arizona State went in it or whoever you want to use, maybe Clemson has to play the Miami, who was really a fringe team to make it in, and then such and such has to, and then
And,
based
and
upon
maybe
that,
it's
the seeding comes out,
and
It
maybe
and
it's
sounds
then
just one or
it
two
sounds
and
like
it
extra
starts.
games.
Yeah,
it
that's what I'm
sounds
If
like
you
saying. Just
it's like a
maybe a
wild
small
card,
pool team. Yeah,
almost like a wild card
Yeah, like
weekend.
like
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
like
Jit.
a on the bubble game to
Yep,
be
yeah,
like, hey,
yep.
look, it came down like the other teams are kind of solidified, but we got like two or three teams that we just not sure about, and
yeah,
just let them play one game.
Yep.
yeah,
It ain't gonna
yeah,
ain't gonna kill nothing. Make it
No.
a bowl if you want to. Ain't gonna hurt nothing because the playoffs are gonna be down the road anyway. You got
Hmm.
a couple weeks until them.
Yeah, they
Let
got
them
time.
play.
They got time. Yep.
I
Yep.
would let Miami and Clemson play and say, okay, cool. Let's see. Do Clemson really deserve to be here? You beat SMU, okay, and then if you beat Miami, the two top teams in the ACC, just by eye test, it ain't by conference play or conference record, by eye test and how they've
yeah,
been playing. Then Jared, I think that would satisfy. I'd be like, okay, cool. They deserve to be in because hey, look, they went against the best in their conference and they won. Okay, nobody can argue Clemson no more. They beat the two top teams. They deserve to be in, even though they had a bad record outside of
Yep.
conference play. They took care of business in the conference with this extra game, and we let them in. Nobody else will argue. Nobody will argue that. You can't argue that. You say, all right, they took care of business. That's how
Yep.
I think
Yep.
something if there was a change to be made. Nah, absolutely, that makes perfect sense. And then you can even look down the line at somebody like an Army who's 11-1, and because of what conference they in, they're not going to get a chance in America. They're not.
Yeah.
So hey,
No.
look, let's maybe shoot them a shot as hey, look, as that
Yep.
one outlier, and say, hey, look,
Yep.
whoever's whoever loses that Miami Clemson, you know what I mean, whoever's that last seed, get them a shot at the last seed.
yeah.
I agree.
And say, hey, look, just hey, give them a shot. Y'all the last seed in. Y'all was on the bubble. Y'all was on. Hey, play.
But just to throw a caveat in there, they did play Notre Dame this year, but that's I'm just throwing that in there.
But that's bro. I'm not gonna even go through. I'm looking at this schedule. I am not going to go through this schedule and tell you this. This
I'm
is an
joking.
insult.
I'm joking.
But then that's their only loss. So it's kind of like, hey, look, they went up against one of the top 10 teams and they lost.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, okay, well, they don't deserve to be in. But if Notre Dame would have lost that game,
yeah,
guess what? Notre Dame would be ranked 20th and be out.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Army probably still wouldn't be in with a win over Notre Dame.
Oh, and that's another thing.
They still wouldn't
Notre,
be in.
Notre Dame lost to NIU. That's more,
The worst loss on the board, probably.
bro. That's
No,
way worse
I
than
But
wouldn't.
there,
losing
I
to
wouldn't. I
but
wouldn't
but
Vanderbilt.
say.
there, but
I
I
wouldn't say that.
already had this
Put it
conversation
on
with
both.
somebody else.
An
The only
extra
reason
game.
why
You
Notre
can
Dame
handle
is
your
where they're
Kansas.
at right now is because of the top heavy teams above them failed. Essentially, that's literally the reason why where they're at right now.
And they didn't get
I
blown out by
disagree.
Northern Illinois. It was a 2 point
Exactly.
game. It was a
Yeah.
bad loss.
No,
Don't get me
it
It
wrong.
was
was
a
It was
Tennyson
it
loss.
was
We just talking about the
a
terrible.
loss.
game.
NIU's in
That
the MAC.
Again, it was a bad loss.
It was terrible.
Okay, that's fine. But I would even argue with you. Okay, you're saying as bad as it is, they may beat some teams that some of these other teams lost to. So I mean, what are we really talking about? That teams lost to bad teams. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
Hey,
it's
there
a
ain't a
bad.
team.
It's
There
a,
ain't
That
a team in the
it's a,
MAC that's beat anybody in the SEC. I don't think. I think it's safe to say
you can say that, but then you would have told me the same thing earlier. Oh, Oklahoma ain't gonna beat them. Vanderbilt ain't gonna like. What are we talking about?
yeah.
Oklahoma's beating NIU, man.
I,
Vanderbilt's beating NIU. And I'm not even trying to say that Notre
and
Dame
then
shouldn't be
wait a
in it.
minute. And then
Listen, I'm not even trying to say that to say that, but I'm just saying at some point,
saying several
I
things
just think the best case scenario is that you get the best team, the 12 best teams in the country in the if
in the
Alabama doesn't
playoff.
make that list, whatever. Get
Cool.
the best 12 teams in.
And like you said, and then the ones you have questions about, you can have, and you can add in these little because you got a million bowl games, so you can slap a sponsor on it and make these teams play to get in,
you
and
know,
just call, 1, 2, 3. Who's going to argue about more college football, especially if there's top, these are bubble teams, top bubble teams that's playing for this last 1 or 2 spots. I don't think nobody's complaining about that.
I guess I'm curious, Jared. What do you consider best team? A best team? Like, what is your criteria of what you look at for?
Strength of schedule. I'm a
Mhm.
real cerebral, rather,
I
college
know
football fan.
that's why I'm asking.
So
Yeah.
I'm definitely watching the games.
Yeah.
I'm not just looking at wins and losses. I'm looking at
Right.
how you win. I want to
Right.
see dominance. I want to see consistency. I want to see all that. Like, and I want to see. And hey, look, I am one that takes program into consideration. I know
Yeah.
everybody just wants to go based on just this year. All right, cool. But if I've seen a team do what they do and they haven't dropped off really at all, like, because I mean, one could say, only thing is difference between this Alabama team and last year's Alabama team is there's no Nick Saban. So a couple of those losses had guys might have got out of control, whereas Nick Saban would have reeled it back in. The board didn't. Does that say that the talent level isn't the same? Like I personally just don't really believe that. But I mean that's not even everything that goes into the criteria. Obviously, who you play, where you win your games, who you lose to, all that should go into effect. But
Mm.
just because you win the Mountain West shouldn't make you the top 12 team in the country. That's just bananas to me. And then it's like, who is Boise State beating? Yeah, they went on the road and played Oregon, but they lost. Like so,
And then you look, and then I don't want to ignore Jonathan going ham. My cousin going
That's what
ham
I was
in the
gonna
chat.
say. Did you see it? Hold on,
Yes, I'm
and
looking
before
at it
you,
right now.
yeah, before you read his comments, to your point though, Jared. Okay, you can discredit the Mountain West, but Boise lost by a field goal to Oregon. They didn't get blown out. So you mean they don't deserve to?
I
I
mean,
mean,
Ohio State lost by 1, and we didn't even get a chance to kick the field goal, which we should have. But
but you're in the playoffs.
this isn't even about them. But I'm just saying this has nothing to do with Ohio State. But I'm just saying we got killed for that loss. We got destroyed for losing to them. So it's just like, I mean, where does
I
that
don't I
apply
don't listen to anybody, so I couldn't tell
to
you
Boise
whether or not
State?
I
Like
didn't destroy them for losing to them. I mean, like I said, you're losing to a team.
society kills the Buckeyes for everything. So they got destroyed for losing that game. And honestly, they haven't played. But I don't even. This isn't even. This has nothing to do with them. We're just talking about wins and losses. And I just don't understand
I think he's
how.
just speaking in general about criteria.
Right, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like,
That's what I was asking. Yeah.
okay, my whole thing is this: the only way you're gonna make you happy then, Jared, is you're gonna have to get rid of conferences, and we all know that's not happening. So there's no
No,
point.
I'm not
Winning.
even saying that. Look, I even said before you got on. I even said this: going to a conference championship game should be able to add to your resume, and I don't think you should be able to be damaged for going like Penn State. although I think anybody who knows anything about football sees a lot of flaws in Penn State. Although they gave Oregon a way better game than I thought that they were going to give Oregon. So shouts out to Penn State on that.
Coaching, like that,
But
you can
I
tell
just
they made some adjustments from the Penn State I've been watching all year. But go ahead.
saying that Franklin's a good coach is crazy because Buddy, he hasn't done anything.
No, but it had to be something like that was not the same game plan they've been they
Yeah,
have not been playing
feel
like
you.
that all
What I-
season.
No.
Especially offensively.
What I say,
Especially
what I say,
offensively.
Would I say
Yowzers.
he's a good coach? Would I say he coached that game really well? Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like they made some. That's what I'm saying. They made some adjustments.
Yeah, I'm
Man.
sorry.
That's all
I
I'm
can't.
saying.
I can't.
I'm
I
not.
can't
I'm
go
not
all the way
saying
and
no,
call
no,
him
no.
a good coach.
I didn't say he was a good coach. I just
Don't
said
get carried
coaching.
away.
But he coached that game though. He definitely coached that game really well.
All right, so I wanted Jonathan. I wanted to acknowledge some of his comments.
Get to his comments. Yeah.
So he was talking. He's saying Miami, Alabama, and Colorado. He has a bunch more before this, but right now this is where I can start. Miami and Alabama's in the and Colorado's in the same pool. I agree, but if you look at Colorado, they lost to Nebraska, Kansas State, and Kansas. That's their 3 losses, and they don't have enough ranked teams on their schedule to compete. And again, they were 4 in the Big 12, but they had they were 7-2 in conference play. They tied with Arizona State, BYU, and Iowa State in conference play.
They were literally one game away from making it.
Right. So if they
wouldn't
have lost to Kansas, then they would have been in the conference play. But again, they had too many out of conference losses too. Like that Nebraska loss killed them.
Yep.
But
You know what I mean?
ranked at 1.2. So
That's what I'm saying. And they weren't even ranked at that time. But so I think that really hurt Colorado. I don't think Miami's in that same boat because Miami didn't really get that chance as far as playing to play Clemson. That's all I'm saying about as far as Miami. I'm a fan of Miami. I think Miami should have been in, or at least a chance to play Clemson to see who should have been in. That performance by SMU, granted, the second half they came around, but I think that would have been way more competitive against Miami. I think that would have been a better game to see in my eyes. But he's
Miami's defense is terrible. So
destroyed for losing against Michigan. Now, he's saying Ohio State got destroyed for losing to Michigan, but I mean, that game just is bigger than almost college football itself.
Yeah.
Like that's just iconic every year. So I don't think it hurts or helps them 2 teams too much just because you're gonna get it every year, and it's always most of the time always a tough game. Miami did lose the 2 unranked, but we're talking about conference play leapfrogging you into the playoff, and even with Miami's losses, like they handled business in conference play. They was only 6-2 in there. I mean, it wasn't like they was way far behind in conference play behind Clemson. Clemson was only 7-1. So that's my.
They didn't play each other either. That's
what I'm saying. They didn't play. You never really got a chance to see like if they were good. And then that last loss to Syracuse, I think that kind of shot Miami in the foot, but that's still only their second loss. I think you take a step back on that and say, all right, like Clemson got 3 losses. Do we want to really give them even a chance to get into the playoff, or does Miami really deserve that?
No, Miami didn't. I mean, don't forget Miami won on a Hail Mary against was it Virginia Tech? I think it was. It was like Miami. Don't get it twisted. Miami wasn't that good. So
Miami had 4 losses this year.
Yeah, like Miami's not that good. The defense was terrible. Cam Ward was solid, but their offense was very sporadic. They had many games where, I mean, let's just be honest, if they put up enough points, they would have won the game, kind of thing. So, I don't have any argument for Miami making it in. No.
So you're completely fine with Clemson.
No, but here's the thing. I'm not in the boat of saying that conference champions should make it in. I think teams peak at different times. So not saying that you don't look at wins and losses and all that in the eye test. I'll be honest. I didn't watch a lot of Clemson this year.
No, but wait a minute. But Jonathan, you can't just talk about the loss to Georgia. We understand that. That's game 1, and it was 34-3. They got tapped. But then they lost to Louisville also, and South Carolina. So, I mean, we Georgia's Georgia. Like, nobody's complaining about a loss to Georgia, game 1.
Bird said you didn't handle your candle.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, do we excuse 11-point loss to Louisville? Do we just let that slide? You know, a loss to South
You
Carolina
talking about for Clemson?
for Clemson, yeah.
Well, shit, they won their conference championship, so they the top one of
But
the top.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they were. To me, they wasn't.
That's all I. That's all I.
That's what I'm saying. That's like that's my argument. You know what I
That's
mean?
all I've
He
been
said
trying to
if
say.
Ohio State versus Michigan gets an exception, make it make sense, man.
What do you mean an
Who said that?
exception?
What are we talking about right now?
That's
But
not. They
how
didn't. That's not an.
how are they an exception is what I want to know.
Yeah, like who
How
said that they
how
were
is
an
that a
exception?
No,
how is that an
I
exception?
think maybe because I
That's the
said
thing about
that game
sports,
is
man.
kind of.
People just take who you're a fan of and then try to get under your skin. By nobody said anything
They
about
was ranked
Ohio
at the
State
time.
being lower, higher, nothing. Like
No,
Uh,
I,
Was he responding to you, Vern?
I don't know. I think he was
nobody said they
responding to
didn't.
what I was saying about the
Like
Ohio State and Michigan game. Like that
they,
doesn't really hurt either team most of the time
they've been getting
because
destroyed.
it's always a tough game. Very seldom do you really see a huge blowout in that game.
It's literally
Um,
See, but I'm also a person who said this. I don't think when we see 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3 or 2 versus 5, like a loss by either one of them doesn't move you down in the rankings to me.
just like the
Mhm.
Alabama and Georgia,
Yeah,
like
like
when
like that
they were
doesn't
like
Yeah.
that
top
wouldn't
five,
have
like that's
yeah
not gonna hurt. The
that
Texas and Georgia, like it didn't move the needle a lot.
no
Like
that to me like if let's say 2 beat 1, okay, I'm gonna swap y'all. All right, now you want to
Right.
right,
like
Right.
I don't
Right.
like if it's a close game and all that. I don't lose my mind about tough games and how that. But yeah,
right. But that's what
so
I'm saying. Like
he said he was responding to you, Vern.
right, and just like Michigan's win over Ohio State, that didn't move Michigan anywhere. Michigan didn't become
They're
ranked
still
all of a sudden because
they're
of that.
still ranked. Yeah, they're
Like
still
No.
ranked.
it didn't, but just like it didn't destroy Ohio State because I think they look at it as like, hey, look, Michigan is at where Michigan is at based on Michigan's play, and Ohio State is where Ohio State is based on their play. Like that's it. Like it shouldn't penalize anybody because this is a game that we see every year. We know the history of this rivalry. And if Michigan, and like you say, if Michigan was top 10, it probably would have swamped them. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
Michigan wasn't even in the picture to what do you give them? You know, you can't give them anything for beating Ohio State because it's too late in the season and they wasn't handling their candle throughout the season.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Handling the candles.
yes, Clemson lost. Yes, Clemson lost to South Carolina. That was the last game of the season. They lost.
That's hell. That's a rivalry game too. Oh,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Like in South Carolina, what?
They are
Well,
9-3, I think.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that was
South
9.
Carolina was tough. They was tough
No,
this year.
absolutely,
Yeah, they was
absolutely.
tough.
But again, like if we how are we counting these losses? Again, I think that kind of goes back to what Jared was saying. How are we counting these losses? How are we counting these wins? What are we putting more weight on? Are we giving the conference championship more weight than we do top 10 wins or bad losses? Like,
bro, they're literally
I think
they're giving
yeah,
conference championships
yeah,
everything.
But
yeah,
here's
it's the
but
highest weighted
yeah,
That's
category.
you
but
win
it
your
almost has to be to a
hey,
degree, and the reason being because just like earlier when you guys talk about, oh well, this wasn't ranked or that one. Well, when are we talking about rankings?
right,
Because some of these teams were ranked to coming into the year.
Mhm.
So I mean, are we talking about before the year? Are we talking about only when they played that team? Because there's
okay,
some teams who weren't ranked that are ranked by the end of the year. So like, it's just a matter of how you want to do that. So I understand why the conference championships matter
okay.
because when are you going to pick and choose when the rankings matter?
And I help you with
right.
that. I
When we
help you with
get
that.
when we get that
Conference championships happen at the end of the year.
Yep.
So regardless of your when you play the team, what they were ranked at that time, you can look at the end of the year and say, okay, yeah, when we played Nebraska, they was ranked 16th. Where's
Hmm.
Nebraska ranked now at the end of at the end of the year when it's time to pick who's going to play for the conference championship? Oh, Nebraska ain't ranked. We're not going to give you the benefit. We're not going to. That's not going to boost your stats in our eyes because Nebraska clearly wasn't good enough to maintain their ranking. So
hey
that's not a beneficial win for y'all. You know what I
time
mean?
out
You can
though.
look at that.
Who won the MAC this year?
Uh, wow, that's a great question.
Hmm.
I can find out real quick.
You're guessing.
Should have just thrown them in there too. Top 12. And then
You and
you
this
can't
Matt. I got you right here.
I mean you can argue the Mountain West and the MAC being
It looks like Ohio Bobcats.
Put them
Hold on.
in.
Yeah,
They won the
7
conference championship. Where they at?
overall. Yeah, 10-3. Yeah, they were 10-3.
Conference USA winner. Put them in.
That's
Where they
crazy.
at?
You are wow.
I,
I'm not doing that.
I mean,
But I
man,
understand what you're
you do
saying.
it. Like,
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. And it's
you gonna put the
that like
Mountain West champion in? Why not put the MAC champion in?
I think you gotta kind of like I said, I think you gotta take a step back and really, like you said, play
You
some
pay it.
extra games and separate some of these teams to really see who's real and who ain't.
So what if you? So
Did you watch boys?
now I am confused about the rule. So is it the top 5 conference champion teams get in automatic bids?
Mm-hmm.
And then the top 4, I
Get the
guess,
bye.
get the bye.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So
so
one gets in.
we
So
could
that's
see.
why Arizona State in the Big 12 is not Arizona State. Clemson is ranked 12 because
So
they're the lowest ranked conference champion.
so we could potentially see a MAC team in. Is basically what you're saying. So the year
If
when
their
Ball
conference is
State
strong, yeah, yeah.
went like what were they, like one loss or undefeated or something, when they had Nate Davis playing quarterback, they were like I think they got up to like 12th in the country. So if they had a would they have gotten in this year?
I
Yeah.
mean,
They
by the
were
rules,
like
by the
top
rules,
15.
yeah, by the rules, yeah.
That's crazy.
But then that takes me back to
Shout out to them.
the Army argument then. Because Army is sitting here at 11-1.
I mean, if you're not putting the top 12 teams in anyway, you might as well just go rogue and do whatever, really.
Yeah.
Because the top best 12 teams in the country are not in the playoff. I mean, what you might as well just do whatever you want at that point.
Because
I
a
can
lot
see,
of these because a lot of these top teams were losing to each other.
I can see this in the next probably 6 to 7, 8 years being expanded to like 16
The mid
teams.
major will have to go undefeated.
I can see them next.
I
can
agree
see
with
them
that,
next
Jonathan.
year.
They would
That's
have to go
terrible.
undefeated.
I can see it going to 16.
And they
That's
would have to
terrible.
Next year they taking out the top 4 conference champions getting buys. I can see that.
I think
Unless it's some kind of agreed to, or or a stipulation in which the conferences agreed to it. But I feel like if they think cerebrally about, I don't even know if that's a word. If they think like, if they think a great deal about this, they'll probably change that rule. I think so.
because into what Jonathan's saying, in order for that to happen, someone like the Mac, like you're gonna have to schedule one or two of these powerhouses.
But then what
You're
if you
gonna have
lose?
to.
What if you schedule 3 decent non-conference games against Power 5 teams or power, whatever, however many powers it is? You lose 2, and then you lose 2 conference games, but you win your conference championship. Then what? You put a 4-loss team in?
No, they're not going to get in. That's why they're not in now. That's why Army's not in now. Like you're talking about
Army's
something
in the
that's not going to happen, even with how they have it designed. It's
conference
not
is
going to
Army in?
happen.
Conference USA?
No,
Who?
America.
Army? The AAC?
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot about the AAC. That's what I was thinking about when I was saying conference
Yeah,
USA.
because
I mean, like
they
I
will
don't know.
like I said, Army will have to schedule. I mean, granted, Notre Dame fine, but you're gonna have to schedule one of these, like you said, one of these top teams, these
Well, I was
consistent top teams.
I was teasing with Notre Dame. They play them every year because that's a rivalry.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a
No, but I'm
rivalry.
just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like that one, okay. Like
That
as
don't
far as
really
Army concerned, like
it count,
you
but it
know
don't
you're
count.
gonna get Notre Dame, but then you need to put in somebody else. You need to put in a
They need
you
more,
know what I mean,
they need
somebody
more
else.
opponents. Yeah.
You're gonna have to reach up there. And I think now with this playoff being like this, and now especially after this year and seeing how it shakes out, like these teams, like you said, in the American and the Mountain West and all these
Um,
other teams and these other conferences, they're gonna have to reach and grab one of these Ohio State, and you know what I mean, they're gonna have to grab one of those teams once a year and try to win one
yeah.
of those games to get some respect.
Well, your problem is those teams have to also be willing to play then.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you're gonna have
Yeah.
to try.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey,
they'll have to
Other than
try,
that,
but I
you
mean,
could go 12-0, and you're just not gonna be in.
based on what Nick Saban said, he said the SEC should probably consider not scheduling any non-conference games, because I mean it's tough. You already
They got
got Texas,
they got it.
you
They
got
got enough
Alabama,
teams in the
LSU.
SEC that
Exactly.
That's enough.
could.
Because
That's enough.
you're already in the gauntlet. You might as well just run the gauntlet,
You
and
might as
then
well, yeah. You might
if
as well
I'm
just
in,
do it.
if we in, we in. If we out, because that's how
and
they
but
playing
just
it
know
anyway.
this: when you do that, you lose to an Appalachian State. You can't be mad when you get left out.
Right,
That's all I'm saying.
but then you
Teams
don't even
like
put
that,
them on there.
but I'm saying like you, you can't be mad because I don't care how you do your schedule, but you
Right.
can't be mad when you lose games that you should win. Period. Again,
Man,
I
you
don't
get
think there's one team on here that you guys can make a legitimate argument for being out of the playoffs that should have been in. I don't think so. You can argue
I mean,
seeding,
not
yeah,
even
but
for the teams that they ranked inside the top 12
no,
and
no,
didn't.
I'm saying seeding, yes. Who's in? No, no, no.
so okay. So I hear you, Justin. But for the committee to take the playoff rankings and rank these teams and say, okay, XYZ, XYZ, and to say, hey, look, Clemson, even though you made it into the playoff, we still don't believe you're better than 16. Arizona State, even though you're seeded 4 in the playoff, we still don't think you're better than 12. And to say that in the middle of that, in between that sandwich, you have an Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, and South Carolina in between those teams to say, hey, look, y'all guys absolutely don't deserve a chance at all.
Yeah, bro.
I think that's what Jared is saying to say.
And
Now, if Clemson won the conference championship and you moved them up to 11 and bump Alabama, you know what I mean? Like if the rankings reflected the seeding in a sense,
That's
cool.
all I'm
But
saying.
you're
that's
saying,
what I'm saying.
you're
They messed
saying
up
as
the
a
ranking.
committee, that even though these two teams are in, like they're still not better than these sandwich of teams in between them
To rank a
that
team
don't have a
11 and
chance.
12 and them not make a 12-team playoff is blasphemy, bro. That's
I understand what you're saying in terms of
crazy.
a team like how they had them ranking, then Alabama not making, because I think Alabama's the only team that didn't make it, ain't it?
It's
That
Yeah,
it's
the
them and
top
Miami.
yeah, that's what I'm
Alabama
saying.
Miami.
and
Now Miami,
Miami
Ole
ain't
Miss,
top
and
12 though.
South Carolina.
Miami,
All of
Miami
them
and
are
Ole Miss
ranked.
ain't top 12
yeah,
in ranking.
No,
Miami's
and I'm
13.
not saying
Miami's
top 12.
13.
I'm just saying
No,
Clemson's not
saying
top 12
I'm
I'm
either.
saying
looking
the
at the
top 12
rankings right
teams,
now. They
huh?
are. I'm looking at the rankings right now.
The
Nah, they
rankings right,
changed a little bit.
yeah,
Miami
the
No,
jumped
they
to
rankings
think.
right now
13.
Yeah, they
13 and
13.
Ole Miss
Yeah,
No,
is
yeah,
down
no, I'm
I
further than
need
yeah.
that.
to
They further
refresh.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, but I'm just saying
There's
like,
only one team, Alabama, and to your point,
Mm-hmm.
they should have just fixed that because Alabama shouldn't be ranked number 11. Because
Yeah,
to your point, if they're
they
number
should be
11,
they should be further
then
down.
if they're
They
number
should be
11, then they
further
should have
down.
been in.
They
Period.
should be
right.
So
further
either
And
down.
that's
they
what
not
Yeah.
number 11 or they should have been in.
I'm saying. And by
Nah,
the
no, no.
no, wait a
Or
minute, hold on,
they should
hold
have
on.
been in, but they couldn't be because of the stupid conference championship
The
rules.
only
That's
reason
what it
That's
means.
it.
Those are the options.
Because right there you're saying that, hey, look, Arizona State and Clemson are not better than Alabama. We don't believe that they're better than Alabama. That's why Alabama didn't move even after the conference championship.
That's like Justin. That's like me being your boss, and I'm like, I think that you're a better associate than associate B, or I think Justin, I think you're the better associate between you and John. But you went to Syracuse, John went to Harvard, so I'm gonna pay him more. You gonna be like, what? Like, nah. If I'm the better associate, I should get the better situation, and that's literally all we're saying.
Yeah. Cause
No,
like
I
I
get
said,
that, but I'm saying they should have just Alabama just shouldn't have been ranked 11.
yeah,
I
If they
agree.
Well,
knew
I
they weren't gonna
mean,
put them in the, if they knew they weren't gonna put them in the playoffs, don't rank them 11. Then
hey,
you ain't got no argument. Then your argument is maybe
hey,
they should have been
no.
ranked higher. But
Hey,
you
but
can't argue
you
with
know,
your argument.
you know how you solve that though, Justin? By just putting the top 12 teams in. Then you don't even gotta have this problem. We wouldn't even be having this conversation if you just put the 12 best teams in. Like you said, if you didn't, you literally just said if they didn't think that they were a top 12 team, then they shouldn't have ranked them 12. Exactly. Literally, that's all we're saying. They shouldn't be ranked number 12 or 11 if you don't think that they should have been in the top 12
Mhm.
teams playoffs. That's it.
Right.
I'm I'm
And if
fully
you're
with
gonna
you.
keep Clemson even after winning their conference championship, if you're gonna keep them at 12,
You say,
keep them
oh,
at
they're
6, you
17.
keep them at 16. Like you're saying that, hey, look, even though you went out and won this, we still don't think you're better than Miami.
And they're the same conference. Like, this just doesn't make any sense. But I
That's
mean,
that's what I'm
we've
looking
been
at.
on this
Like
for an hour though.
this
Like,
is
but
crazy. I think everybody's made amazing points.
yeah, like I don't
Like
think anybody's wrong, but I
no,
think what
no,
they did is they expanded it to 12 teams to try to eliminate some of the back and forth. But
Mm-hmm.
all they did is create more
more. Yes.
hectic. Like that's all they did
Yeah.
essentially. Now you got 12 teams in, and now you ranking teams 11, and they don't make the 12-team play. Like, come on, bro, that's crazy.
Nah,
You
I
could have
agree.
just saved that. You could have just went back to the 4. Like,
If this was going to be the situation,
Yeah,
you
like we can
kept
move
it
on.
at 4. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Well, with that being said, I ain't really got much left, man. Just gonna talk about the playoff picture picture in the NFL right now, and oh wow, man, that was a lot, man. That took a lot out of me.
Yeah,
It took a lot out. Now they be like trying to move on. I'm like, man,
pause by the
I'm a
way,
little,
but you were.
I'm a little hot. Like,
Oh yeah, you
jeez,
going crazy.
Gotta love it this time of the
man,
year.
it's it's wonderful. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Right. I just appreciate the opportunity to be able to
Then now
express
talk
my
about
thoughts
it.
instead of talking to myself. I've been talking to myself since Sunday about this, like in the shower, just talking about it, driving to work. Just, people be looking in my car like, is he okay? Like,
Ain't
this
even
is
no
what I
music
do.
on.
Hey, this is what I do. Like, I talk sports. If I gotta talk it to myself, I talk it to myself.
Hey, look. So playoffs right now, you got Kansas City, Buffalo, um, Pittsburgh, Houston, Baltimore, Chargers, and Broncos right now, with the Colts and the Dolphins still with a slight chance.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the NFC, you got Detroit, Philly, Seattle, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Green Bay, Commanders, and then you got the Rams. You got the Rams, the Falcons. You got a couple teams, Arizona and Niners, still with a slight chance. But the Niners, the Cardinals, and the Rams, that's crazy in itself.
Mm-hmm.
And the Seahawks still sitting there at 8-5. Like they still have a chance to. One of them still has a chance because they've been beating on each other all
Yeah,
year.
Seahawks #1 in the division. It's crazy.
Yeah, at 8-5. But you got a Rams at 7-6. Arizona at 6-7, and San Francisco at 6-7. So like that can flip with these
That
last
is
couple weeks.
crazy.
Like
Yeah,
with all the San Francisco struggles, they still have a chance to win the division. Which
yeah, they're not.
I'm trying to get Justin to say something to make Ike start talking crazy.
Hey, I
Believe
was
in
just
Brock
a
Purdy,
year
man.
early on my Seahawks pick, and I still picked them again this year because I know what time it is. It's the Seahawks division. You heard?
Hey, I
Hey,
know some people lost a lot of money on that because I don't think
Yeah,
nobody
buddy.
that like that's
if you're looking at the percent, they got a 52% chance. They saying they got a 52% chance to win the division and
who
a
the
55%.
49ers?
The Seahawks.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I
No, the
see.
Niners only got a 9% chance to win the division and 11%
They
chance.
playoff like hopes is kind of. You said they got 6 wins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Man, they better keep
9% right
winning,
now.
bro.
I mean, 11% chance to make the playoffs right now.
That's,
Cardinals at
They're not
9%.
making it.
Yeah,
if I remember
Like
correctly, that
they've
that
been
was my
destroyed by
Super Bowl
injuries.
pick.
So
I
yeah.
had
That's
them
what I'm
as my
saying. With
Super
all their
Bowl.
injury woes, to even have a chance, like that's crazy.
Shanahan can coach. I'll give the
Yeah.
man
Oh
credit.
yeah.
He can coach. So he keeps them with opportunities, but there's too many injuries.
And
I
the
mean,
AFC, I mean, the last couple teams you got that has a percentage to chance to make the playoffs. You got the Bengals at 3%, Miami at 15%, Colts at 26%. And those are the teams on the outside.
who's the second team? Who'd you say before the Colts?
Miami 15%.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I forgot about them.
Just because, I mean, but this game between the Colts and Denver this weekend is going, that's
Nah,
either
because
going
I
to.
said this. I said this with the Colts because I just looked at them. Denver's the hardest game left. If they
Yeah,
can beat Denver, or even if they lose, I think they still can win out
yeah, but what's
and give themselves
but then
opportunity.
we got to kind of look at Denver.
Texans is gonna slide, brother. They offensive line is trash. They've been struggling, so I would not be surprised to see the Texans slip up. Now I don't know how they are in division games. I don't know if they got any left, so I ain't pay no attention to that. But the Texans, I'm not sold on them. Not sold on them at all.
So let's see what Denver's rest of their schedule is. Oh, they get the chart. Oh, they got Charger, Bengals, and Chiefs. That's the chance. Hey, you know what?
Yeah. That's why I
The
said
Colts may have.
Colts have a
I'm just
chance,
saying,
bro. Yeah, Colts have
because
a chance.
all those are losable. If we beat Denver, Denver can lose 4 in a row.
That's
These
why I said,
last 4 in a row.
even if y'all lose to Denver, y'all went out. Denver could lose out. Like after that.
Yeah.
So
Lose out is crazy. Like that phrase is wild, but I get
But
it.
the Chargers, tough.
Lose out like damn.
Bengals,
yep.
tough.
Shit, we gonna need another break. Y'all see the break we got last night, bro? That was our first break of the season. Because that game was over, bro.
Yeah, it
If
was.
they
It
let that
was.
ball die, we're done. With that field goal kicker, we lose that game like
Yeah.
100%. And I actually bet on the Cowboys last night, so I was kind of hoping. Hey, yo, that's the cheat code. Bet against your team takes all the nerves away. You don't. I
You don't
couldn't
lose.
even less of a fuck last night watching that game. I
This
couldn't have
man is
found a
fraud.
less of a fuck. Like it was the
This
greatest
man
feeling
is
ever.
this
So
man is fraud. Straight
Uh,
hey,
fraud.
I gotta do what I gotta do to like, hey,
AFC seeding chance. I mean, right now, it don't really seem like. I mean, between the number one seed, you really Kansas City and Buffalo. Kansas City a 76% chance gonna have the number one seed. The biggest fight in seeding is probably just the sixth seed between the Chargers, Ravens, and the Broncos. That's the closest with 35 for the Chargers,
Not
29
really.
for the Ravens, and 21 for the Broncos.
Not really. If you look at like, and I'm gonna be the first to tear down. I hate Ty Monken in the offensive play calling. The defense is terrible in
I'm just talking about
Baltimore.
percentages. I'm
No,
not talking
no, no,
about.
but I'm saying like even with that out the door, like
Mhm,
I'll read this off because I looked at it the other day because I was trying to see like who they had left.
mhm.
The Ravens should win every game. They have the Giants, the Steelers, the Texans, and then the Browns.
Well, that's why they're giving them a 41%
So
chance to
yeah,
have a fifth
so
seed. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm
So
just
I
talking
mean,
about like percentage differential. But they're probably
losing any of these games, Baltimore don't need to make the playoffs. Just being honest with you, they don't. They don't even need to make the playoffs. At that point. So
yeah.
It's
And
some
in the
good teams out
NFC,
there. Hey,
the biggest seed in differentials. I mean, the closest one is the fourth seed between the Bucks, the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Falcons. They're all within
isn't that disgusting? Right there, that you
10%.
just said that. Ugh,
That's crazy.
that's disgusting.
Yeah. So, but last but not least, we got the race for the number one pick right now. Uh, you got the Giants right now with a 41% chance to get the number one pick. Patriots 23%, Panthers 11%, and then the rest of the NFL only has a 25% chance. So
my money's on New England for
anybody else,
that.
yeah, yeah. I'm saying the Giants.
I don't know,
I
man.
think
New England's pretty
the
bad.
Giants have looked just beyond.
Hey, look,
Yeah,
New England look better than the Giants.
that's what I'm about to say.
It's
They look slightly better than the Giants. I mean, Drake May is better than
gonna be the
any.
it's gonna be the Giants, bro. Giants play the Ravens, Falcons, Colts, and then Eagles.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
They
saying.
gonna lose out,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
And I don't know, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this, but am I the only person who says Kirk Cousins is? I mean, he's hot garbage, bro. He's hot garbage. I don't know what's up with Buddy, but he hot
hey,
garbage this year,
but
bro.
Atlanta knew
man,
something on draft night.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Hey,
mean, I think also coming back from
The Achilles, I
the
get it,
Achilles too. Like, I mean,
but that
it,
don't change your decision making.
he didn't
I
got
agree with that.
he
It's
didn't
a
got
new
to the
team and
ATL.
everything too.
He didn't got to the ATL. He feel a little different, Fox. It's
Yeah,
all right.
Hey,
A
it's
little
hey,
different down
hey,
there.
hey,
A
he's
little
seeing
different down there.
ghosts.
Hey, a
but
little different down there in ATL.
There
You
you go.
know what I'm saying?
I remember they were saying that about
Darnold,
they
boy.
were saying that about Flacco. No, Flacco. They were saying that about Flacco in New York. That man out there
Man,
seeing ghosts. But
That's funny.
but yeah, man, that's all I got, man. We got pick'em records, which now, man, Justin, it's a wrap, bro. You after what happened last week, you 5-8. I mean, I'm 8-5, but I mean, I went 11-2. Like,
Hey,
well,
don't
he's
say
got. I,
nothing.
I already
5 and
told.
8.
Well, you were. I think you were in there. I don't think it was when Ike texted me, but I told him. I said every week I'm going against pretty much every pick he has. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, right.
I mean, that's.
So
I
like,
mean, so
so like when Jared put in there like genius pick Justin, I quickly was like, hey, he gonna mess it up somewhere else down the line. I was like, dang,
well,
Shit.
because there's some of them I actually like. I'm just
it
like
was
not like if
disrespectful.
you
Right.
even if you think like if you go back probably the last 2 or 3 weeks where I started just being crazy aggressive. All the ones I missed on were ones that really should have hit. Like those teams should have won, and they something stupid happened.
Yeah.
Oh, they missed a field goal, or oh, they fumble this. Like I ain't like I could have very well been behind the 8 ball right now. Let's just be real. If you look at my picks going back, like there's been quite a few games where I've actually been. I'm not right, but right in terms of like, nah, that team really they
It's
shot
probably
themselves in the
better. It
foot.
was just yeah.
Yeah. So But yeah, he texted me talking crazy earlier, and I told him, I said, bro, you done lost your mind. I ain't conceding to you. I wouldn't give you that satisfaction. I said, so
Well, we
you can
riding it
quit,
out, huh?
you can quit, or I'm gonna keep on picking, pimp. So let's, you know.
I already put mine in. I think.
Oh, did you?
I
Okay,
think
I
so.
had to look
Did
at
I?
it and put mine in.
Did I put mine? Nah, I thought about putting them in. That's what I was saying.
That's funny. That's
Well,
hilarious.
shoot, let's do it now, then, man.
All right,
I got the.
let me pull my. Yep, I'm ready. Go ahead, read them off.
I'm ready. Thursday night Rams and Niners. Look, and this is right at the right time. We are just talking about them too. Uh, gosh, man, the Rams been going crazy.
Rams.
I'm just thinking about offensively. The Rams have been going.
I'm thinking offensively and defensively how bad the Niners have been. And they about to
I'm
pay
not.
Purdy 50 to 60 million and be even worse.
I feel like even if they was good, you probably wouldn't pick
All
them
right,
over
I'm not gonna even
Minnesota.
comment on that because I feel like I'll keep y'all another couple hours.
Hey,
Chiefs,
Jared,
Chiefs and Browns.
they gonna pay him, and it's gonna be exactly what me and you have said time and time again with these teams. And I'll leave it at that.
Hey, that window's closed.
It's closed, bro. It's
Shout out
closed.
to Ike. I'm not gonna say that it's closing for
Uh,
sure.
yeah, it's not as open as it has been.
Yeah,
I'll say
because you
that.
got you for that team. You gotta win with Brock on that rookie contract. You
Yep.
have to.
Yep.
You have to. It's not all over because I mean I still think he's a good enough quarterback to get a good team to the Super Bowl and win it. But you have to capitalize off him being on a rookie contract.
And
That's
the
just
problem is,
and we're in the same spot, so it's not even me talking trash. We should have did it with Burrow on his rookie contract, and we blew it.
but
But
that's most teams. You know what I'm saying? Like you
yeah,
gotta
man.
do it while you can put all the talent around the quarterback.
Yep.
So,
And if you don't, it gets spooky.
hmm if it
So
make Ike feel any better, I don't think Baltimore going nowhere either.
man, I hate that, but I mean, shit.
Uh,
I mean, look. I feel like if y'all can just stay away from the lucky ass Chiefs, y'all be all right.
They won't though.
But I
That's the
think you
thing.
might have to beat the Chiefs en
That's
route
what I
to
I
it.
said. They
think you're
won't.
gonna have to beat the Chiefs to
But
make it, and
maybe the Bills take them out or something, and
I,
but,
I've said this. I think in order for Lamar to get the credit that he's looking for, he needs to go through Kansas City and Buffalo on his way to a championship.
Absolutely.
I said I think that's the only way
hey,
because to
he
your
still
point,
won't get the respect
he
that he
beat
deserves
Cincinnati. You're right. You're
for
right. He's still not gonna get it.
reasons we kind of
Yeah,
really know what's up.
we
Like,
know. Yeah, we know. We know. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I think Baltimore's problem is honestly, I told you this, Jared, when I text you, Justin Tucker.
that's crazy.
That
That is
it's
the most insane storyline of this year. I
I.
would say the 49ers struggles, the Bengals struggles, and Justin Tucker are
Yep.
like the three of the biggest like what the fucks of the season so far.
Mm-hmm.
all right,
That's
so
All
crazy.
right.
we got Colts and Broncos.
Oh boy. That
That could go either way.
could go
Really
either way.
can.
And I want to pick the Colts.
You know who I'm picking?
I'm gonna just pick the under. I would pick the underdog if I was in it still. Well,
Let's
that's like kind of
see.
a betting undertone.
Denver. The spread is
Where's it at? Where's the game at?
it is in Denver.
All right, I'm gonna go Broncos then.
Yeah,
I hate that I gotta do that.
Yeah,
it's probably gonna be
they're
close.
giving Denver 4 points.
Okay. I had to go with Denver.
Chiefs and Browns.
I think I could probably skip that pick.
Man, Jameis gonna do what Jameis do. So he gonna
Y'all,
give the team at least 7 to
y'all could
14.
y'all could go y'all could go ahead and skip that pick. Y'all already know what that answer's gonna be. The fact that you was agreeing to make that
Bengals and Titans.
that's what makes it funny.
Damn, that's in Tennessee too. I'm not. I'm not going.
It
It's
is.
like I've been in like 3 straight games down there too. I ain't going to that shit.
Commanders and Saints.
That's another team that's gonna have to blow it all up though with the Saints.
Hmm.
Ravens and Giants.
Hey, I might concede. If Baltimore loses to the Giants, I might go ahead and concede just on GP for you, fam.
Cowboys and Panthers.
Ooh,
Panthers.
that motherfucker is nice.
Jets and Jaguars.
Man, y'all got some
I just
hard
hate
picks.
picking the Jets.
Y'all got some
They just
hard picks
I
this.
disgust
I
me.
I
Y'all got
picked
some
the
hard
Jets
picks this.
too.
Y'all got some hard
I
picks this week.
did, but they just disgust me.
Y'all got
Dolphins
some
and Texans.
hard picks this week, boy.
Uh, Bills and Lions. That's gonna be a good game.
Is it the Bills and Lions this week?
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game.
Oh, jeez. That.
I gotta,
Ugh.
I gotta go. I gotta go Lions, man. I think Detroit right now they
They for real.
they are playing very
Nah,
well right
nah,
now.
nah,
The
nah. They for
problem
real.
is, I think the one area that the Lions struggle with is where Josh Allen can expose them. And y'all know my feeling about Josh. But his mobility and his ability to extend them plays is going to get that defense problems, man.
Yeah,
Ugh. I hate picking the Bills sometimes.
I ain't pick.
But the Lions offense is so damn good.
That's why I'm saying, like, is the Bills defense good enough to stop that
I
Bill
don't think
Because
that
so.
Detroit
The
line?
Rams went crazy
Yeah,
on the Bills. Like I was like, what?
that's why I'm gonna have to go Lions.
That's what I'm
They
saying.
did.
Like,
They went. Yeah, they went crazy. Yeah, and Josh had to be Superman to even get any points on the
yeah,
board
yeah,
too. So yeah,
yeah, like,
Six
yeah,
TDs,
yeah,
man.
by
yeah,
Like
himself.
I'm
you got
I'm gonna go
that
Lions.
was one of them
He
Joe
threw for
Burrow
three. Yeah, he
specials.
threw for three and
Yeah.
ran for three. Like,
That's what that was, bro. He went
Hey,
right.
crazy.
you
That's
wanna
why.
know what?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
Nah, I'm gonna keep prolonging the conversation. I'm
Nah,
gonna
I
just.
was gonna say, so what's so crazy about the national media too? One game automatically propels people to MVPs in their eyes. It's crazy to me. It's crazy, but I'm not even gonna say anything else about it because, like, if you look at it, Josh Allen still isn't like top 10 in passing yards or none of that. So,
Hey, you know
Uh,
how they do, bro.
yeah, man, it's crazy.
Steelers and Eagles. That's gonna be a good game too. There's some
Eagles,
couple good
yeah.
games. Yeah, I went Philly also. Man, they both.
Steelers are just squeaking away with stuff.
hmm Cardinals, Patriots.
Cardinals, they
Yeah,
got to win. I mean, they ain't
yeah. I'm
even
about
got
to
a
say they
choice.
got. Yeah, they got to
Yeah,
win. Buccaneers, Chargers. That'd be a decent game.
it
Uh,
is. Ugh.
I'm gonna say.
Ugh.
I know. I'm gonna say Tampa Bay.
That's who I'm leaning towards. I don't even feel good about it though. I feel
Me
I
neither.
feel dirty after saying it.
You see my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, you got that Lawrence Fishburne from Boys in the Hood going on?
with the ball, yeah, with the two balls, yeah. I don't know, man.
Let's go. I'm gonna go Chargers. Don't even feel good about it.
And then Sunday night we got Packers Seahawks, which is another good game.
It is. Packers got to win, but the
Fox,
Seahawks do too.
I was
Fox, you
about to
ain't
say
got
they
nothing.
both got to win.
Fox, you ain't got nothing to lose after that record I saw. So just do what you gotta do, man.
Well, no, it's you got to remember this, Fitz. I don't know what Ike picks,
Ah, yeah.
so I'm
Yeah,
I'm
his
trying
yeah,
to think of what he is going to pick.
he
So
would definitely pick the Packers in this, I believe.
that's what I'm thinking because I know he don't
Game
want the
like it.
Seahawks, obviously.
Yeah,
So
he's gonna pick against the Seahawks, I believe.
I would think so.
But also he
But
he
he
doesn't
also don't
pick.
be tripping on that.
He don't care about
Yeah,
division,
like he
but
also don't be
he
picking
really
like that.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah, he really be thinking about what's the best.
and
Yeah,
that's why I said like I'm trying to think of like,
he yeah.
but
But still,
because I said Seahawk Nation on this, he gonna go against the Seahawks on that.
he
So I'm picking
probably
the Seahawks.
just to benefit the Niners right
Yep.
now to spite you. I'm gonna go Green Bay on that, but I don't feel great about it. And then this Monday night game, Vikings and Bears. Oh, it's two Monday night games.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we got Vikings and Bears first, and then Falcons and Raiders.
Jeez.
See, this would be a game that the Vikings lose.
That's what I. Okay, so you
this
know
would be
exactly what I was going to say. Like this
this
would
would
be the
be
one.
that game. This would be that game that they lose.
All right, I'm gonna go Falcons. I mean, Vikings and Falcons, I guess. Ugh.
That's cool.
I'm
They
gonna
can
go
lose.
Bears because I don't
That's cool.
care,
That's
but I
cool. They
think
can
this
lose, but my two stars better go crazy this week. That's all I know.
Mm.
Falcons and Raiders. Oh, you got Raiders is a fucking dumpster fire too right
That
now.
part. That part.
Yeah, uh,
All right, that's it. I think that's all of them.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Jeez, gosh. All right, man. Shoot. Final thoughts, I guess.
I didn't talk enough.
I mean, we ain't defunding nothing. Usually we
Bro, I
get a
don't got nothing left.
we ain't had a defund in a minute.
Oh no, I hit y'all with UC basketball last week.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Get them out of here. I'm sick of them.
yeah. All right, man. I got nothing, man. Justin, Jared. I mean Justin, John. It's all these J's. Justin, John, Jared. Any final
Nah,
thoughts?
I ain't got nothing, man. I'm just looking forward to this is a good time for football, so I'm looking forward to
Man,
the to the
this is
NCAA this tournament
Yeah.
this good old
When does
college
it
football
start?
playoffs. 20, 20,
21st?
20 Well, the
20th,
20th is the
20th and the
20th is the
21st.
first. The 20th is
Okay.
the first games, I think.
so
Yeah.
we
Okay.
got the 20th is the first game, and that's the Indiana Notre Dame game.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
that's on Friday. The 21st, you get the SMU, Penn State, Clemson, Texas, Tennessee, Ohio State.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I looked up tickets for both of those games.
I heard they outrageous.
Stupid.
They
Outrageous.
are, when I
Stupid.
say outrageous, outrageous.
Yeah, it's too cold, bro. I'm cool anyway. Like I'm
No,
Yeah.
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 I was
Nothing
just
on that.
and I was talking
That's what I'm
about
looking like. Ain't none of them inside,
and
except
I
for
was
that the Arizona whoever Arizona State play. That's gonna be in Atlanta,
and I was talking about
and whoever
the
Georgia play in
I
the
was talking
Superdome.
about the in-state
Oh
game
yeah,
of
nah,
Notre
that's
Dame and
yeah,
IU. It's crazy
yeah,
price.
yeah. You don't want to go up to South Bend.
Jesus.
Not this time of year.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you're gonna be freezing your ass. Huh?
They say cheapest tickets to the Ohio State Tennessee game is 203.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen that earlier today, and it's up in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
IU and or Notre Dame 736.
Yeah, that's Catholic
Yeah,
money that's getting charged up there. That's what that
that's the
is.
cheapest ticket,
Yeah, because
It's
boy,
Notre Dame, bro.
get me
and it's
started
gonna
on
be cold too.
don't get me started on them Catholics, boy.
No sirski.
Yeah.
Hey yo, shout out to that Michigan and Alabama game though. I
Oh
like to
yeah,
see
that's
when
gonna be
they like schedule interesting matchups. Like I'm messing with that.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a bowl. Yeah, that's gonna be a
I'm
bowl
for
game.
sure. I'm for sure tuning into that. Like I appreciate them doing that. That's for the culture.
Yeah, and you know what? Another one, which the Georgia Tech Vanderbilt, because those two have been two controversial teams
They're
that's
damn near
been
like the
really,
same type of team.
yeah, they really, yeah,
Hey, Colorado BYU is. I'm something on that too.
yep.
yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. I
That's all.
think.
Like I
That's a
was looking
conference.
for.
That's a conference game. Why would they do
Yep.
that?
Wait, whoa, no, but then you get Iowa State and Miami,
yeah.
like
Messing with
with ju-
that.
that will show.
But we got to remember all those players might opt out though.
No, Colorado. They already said they playing.
Well,
Mhm.
Colorado Dion wasn't about to let that happen. But I mean, some
No.
of them other teams like BYU, nah, they probably gonna play too.
Nah, they gonna play.
I can
Mhm.
see Cam Ward not playing.
He ain't got no reason not to. He
Nah,
want to
I
cry
get
about not making the playoffs. Get out there and
with
show them why
that.
y'all shouldn't have.
I
Y'all
wonder
shouldn't
if
have.
Cause it show.
Alabama QB gonna play.
Milrow, he got to play because he's had up and
Mhm.
down season anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
He got to build his stock
if he, yeah,
for the
if he
draft.
if he's even thinking about leaving, he need to go out there and put on a good performance.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
he got to build his
I
stock.
think like a Miami goes out there and go and try to really put their foot on the Iowa
I
State
think
throat.
so.
Like
Yeah, I think
you
so.
gotta show out to like show them like hey, next year, yeah, like you said, the Colorados, even the BYU, like both of them teams really need to compete hard
Yep.
to put some respect on their names. You know what I mean? Because
And and to your
right
point, Jared, I think it's even more important that you leave the right taste in the voter's mouth going
now,
into
yep, the
I'm
next
not
year.
pause as I say that. But you
Yeah,
gotta
That's
you gotta
crazy.
leave it right. You know
yeah,
what I'm
that's a
saying?
crazy
Going into
Yep.
statement
next
there,
season,
boy.
because if they go out there, regardless if Cam Ward plays or whoever, and they get blown out, you're gonna remember that next year.
Mm-hmm.
So if they on the bubble, you gonna remember the fact that they got their butt whooped.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
you
A
you know
South
they
Carolina, Ole Miss,
yep
both
any
of
of
them.
those schools, any
Yeah,
of them.
they
Yep.
need to really go out and whoop on whoever they whoop on Illinois, which is a good team to beat.
Hmm.
Who was competing in the Big Ten? Duke, it's a ACC school, so you don't know what you're gonna say about that.
Yeah,
But
that part.
you know what I mean. But still, like Ole Miss, go out there and put up 52 on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like and
Yep.
just show like, hey, look, when y'all are questioning where we deserve to be, like, sure. And Alabama, if Alabama goes out there and puts on a show against Michigan, you might. Hey, it's a sit back. Like, oh, okay.
But I don't think Michigan get a whole lot of respect. I mean, they were bad this year, so
But
I
I
mean,
mean, like, but
Man,
they've been.
they probably not
yeah,
trying to play nobody but
I
us.
don't think. Yeah, I was gonna
But I'm
say,
just saying though, like they played Indiana tough. That came down to, you know what I mean.
yeah, but
And we
they
just
gonna,
they play top teams tough. So
yeah,
if you're Alabama, if you go out there and destroy them, and they look like, okay, well shoot, they even though this has been a down year for Michigan, they beat Ohio State, man. But they competed against all the top ranked teams that they played against. They competed for the most part. It wasn't like they were getting dominated all season, even though their record don't reflect that.
If they work Michigan, it still doesn't change my feelings about how Alabama is
mm-mm,
this year. I'm
no,
just throwing
It
it out
won't
there.
change your feelings.
I'm just throwing it out there.
it don't.
They your feelings. I'm messing with you. All right,
My
man.
hey, my final thought though, I was just
Go
gonna
ahead. Go
let
ahead.
y'all know because y'all always say I don't let you know. December the 21st. I had to make sure I had the right date. Usyk and Fury 2 is December the 21st. So
It
that
would be the same day as all the playoff games.
yep.
Well, it'll be that
But
night.
it's gonna be late. It's gonna be late at night.
Well,
But
it'll be during that Tennessee Ohio State game because that's at 8 p.m.
no. This fight probably won't start till about midnight.
Yeah, it's a yeah that type of fight. Yeah,
I gotta see exactly where it's at. I don't know the
Yeah,
location, but if
yeah,
it's
because
overseas, don't forget
it
them
might
will
it might
start
mess you
early.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, them be like 4 p.m. fights because you like, man, I forgot it was even on. But
right. Yeah,
uh,
about to say yeah, that's what I'm saying because you got
yeah,
SMU and Penn State, Clemson and Texas, and Tennessee and Ohio State that
so
day
I
as
had
well.
to see where it's at, but just wanted to let y'all know on the 21st, that Usyk Fury 2 is that rematch is taking place. And then I don't know if you've seen it, as I say this too real quick. I brought up Malik Murphy. Said something to you, Jared. That's the quarterback at Duke. And I
Yeah,
told you check him out. I saw where he's entered the transfer portal, so I'm curious to see where he goes.
Mm.
man.
I didn't know he was at Texas. They talked about he was actually there with Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers.
I'm gonna
Hmm.
just go ahead and tell you that fight is probably gonna be an early one. It's being fought in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, then yep. That's gonna be an early one, probably. Then yep,
Hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be during that Texas Clemson game probably.
probably yep.
Yeah.
Shit, if not during the SMU Penn State game.
Yeah, because it's in Saudi right now. It's 6:07 in the morning.
They said
Oh, that's an
estimated
8 hour
the card.
difference.
They're
Yep,
saying estimated the cards start at 2, so they'll probably be on the flight. They'll probably be on the ring out at around 6 p.m. roughly.
yep. About
Yeah,
5, 6 o'clock.
that's
Yep,
Tennessee, Ohio State, y'all, man.
yep,
Hmm.
Why
yep.
would they do that?
Uh,
I got multiple TVs, so we good.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say, I guess I just had two going at that time.
Got multiple
yeah.
TVs.
Y'all know I'm down.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
be
we can
watching
make it
that and
happen.
a bunch of other shit. So
Shoot, we could just go to Jared's.
I mean, that's always an option.
Make it a thing.
Fire up that good boy Fire Stick and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for the free 99.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
hey, always
Definitely.
a deal for me.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, with that being said, this has been the Epic Podcast, man. Some of us will see y'all next week. Who knows?
don't say it like that.
I mean, we don't know.
You're right. Hey, you're right.
So we holla.
All right, y'all. I'm about to hop off